In the top stories, Prime Minister Drew to speak at Crime as a Public Health Issue Symposium, farmers to be trained to utilize post-harvest handling practices, and role of women and youth in agriculture to be expanded. We'll be back with the details after the break.
Frozen fruits and vegetables get a bad rap. Because they are frozen doesn't mean they are not nutritious. Many frozen fruits and vegetables actually retain more nutrients than when they are eaten fresh. Using frozen fruits and vegetables is about convenience. Best of all, they last longer and they cost less. Look for the Island Garden brand at your favorite supermarket or call 662-0909 to place an order today. At Island Garden, we assure you that our products are locally grown and nutritiously sealed.
Rewind selector. Rewind selector. Rewind selector. Rewind selector.
In cricket, there are a few essentials. A bat, a pitch, a ball, some fielders, and plenty of refreshments. Enjoy the cricket with Angostura Chill. Angostura Chill, the official refreshment partner of the Hero CPL T20.
Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Channel 5 newscast. I'm Mervan Thompson. Prime Minister Honorable Dr. Terence Drew is slated to address CARICOM at a regional symposium, Violence as a Public Health Issue, the Crime Challenge, being held in Trinidad and Tobago on Monday and Tuesday, April 17th to 18th is en route there. Dr. Drew is CARICOM's lead head on health and will deliver remarks in that capacity on day one. The symposium comes as a result of an agreement made at the 44th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of CARICOM in February that crime should be considered as a threat to public health. According to safecaribbean.caricom.org, quote, the conventional approach of the criminal justice system focuses on retribution, imprisonment, rehabilitation, and restoration with the goal of restoring harmony and reintegrating people into society. However, this has resulted in consistently escalating levels of crime and violence, which have been an ongoing concern of CARICOM heads of government for several years, end quote. The regional symposium will emphasize a holistic system approach involving and collaborating with governments, organizations, civil society, business, community, families, and individuals. Topics to be discussed include violence and health in the region, crime and violence, a public health approach, mental health, and transnational organized crime. Prime Minister Drew will be accompanied by a delegation comprising Naima Hazel, Permanent Secretary in the Prime Minister's Office, Cecile Hull, Permanent Secretary, National Security, Dr. Sharon Archibald, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, and Dr. Patrick Martin, Advisor to the Ministry of Health. Interested persons can participate by logging on to TTT Online, safecaribbean.caricom.org, or CARICOM's social media platforms. Post-harvest handling practices improve agricultural production, prevent losses, and add value to agricultural products. With this in mind, officials from the Ministry of Agriculture say that it is extremely important for farmers to be trained to utilize post-harvest practices. This was highlighted in the April 12 edition of In Focus by Miguel Fleming, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture. He said, quote, in agriculture, there is post-harvest practice, and I think there is a need to train farmers in post-harvesting. How you handle the food from the time you harvest it to when you deliver it to the marketing unit or the buyers, post-harvest handling is something that we need to really look at, and processing as well, because sometimes we overproduce but the market is not readily available and there is a need to organize agriculture. End quote. P.S. Fleming said that an important part of ensuring that farmers are properly trained will be tackled via the Agricultural Training School. The implementation of the school was announced by Minister of Agriculture Honorable Samuel Duggins during the Prime Minister's press conference with Cabinet Ministers on March 30th, 2023. The aim of establishing the Agricultural Training School is to further strengthen the agriculture sector and ensure that farmers receive the necessary training needed to improve their business skills and capacities and boost productivity. Head of the Media and Communications Unit of the Ministry of Agriculture, Shahira Flanders, shared similar sentiments, adding that the training school will be a welcome addition to and will be beneficial to farmers and St. Kitts and Nevis. And finally, the Ministry of Agriculture in St. Kitts is working to build a robust and sustainable human resource base to grow agricultural production by creating more opportunities for women and youth to enter the field, says ministry officials. The initiative is based on international best practices and is included in the St. Kitts and Nevis Agriculture Transformation and Growth Strategy for the period 2022 to 2031. Miguel Fleming, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, said at the April 12 edition of In Focus, quote, "What we found is that women stick to the task. Men sometimes give up easily if it does not work, and they just decide to change. But women, they will continue to try until they become experts in the area," end quote. Statistics have shown that many of the women in farming who are currently in contact with the Department of Agriculture have been doing so for years. It is a trend that Mr. Fleming explained can be found in many countries. He is quoted as saying, "When I travel around the world and I see the movers and shakers in agriculture, they are women and youth and sometimes persons who actually don't have any experience whatsoever in agriculture, but they have the business mindset. So we have to educate our farmers and persons coming into agriculture to work with us to execute our strategic plan," end quote. A new report by Food and Agricultural Organization, FAO, considered the status of women in agri-food systems and indicates that women make up 36% of the agri-food system workforce in Latin America and the Caribbean. The study added that closing the gender gap in farm productivity and the wage gap in farm productivity and the wage gap in agricultural employment would increase global gross domestic product by nearly $1 trillion and reduce food insecurity for 45 million people. Coming up, we'll have another look at some of the stories from the past week. Stay tuned.
Here are your Hostel's Value Mart IGA Easter Special.
Running April 6th to the 19th.
Now our Value Club Blue Tag Specials. Essential Everyday Tortillas, just $11.99. Yo Play Yogurt, $3.99. Stone Ridge Ice Cream Bars in time for the heat, $19.99. Planters Dry Roasted and Cocktail Peanuts, $14.99. Gold Medal Flour, $17.99. Essential Everyday Canned Dog Food, $7.49. And now our very low weekly
Value deals. IG and Essential Everyday Mac and Cheese, $2.79. IG and Essential Everyday Salt, $4.79. Peter Pan Peanut Butter, $10.99. IG and Essential Everyday Cream Cheese, $7.99. Essential Everyday Pasta, $4.99. Equal Mouthwash, $14.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart. Tell them in Spanish.
Sean listos y hagan sus compras aquí en Value Mart.
Want to get away? Now you can.
Stop standing in long ATM lines to withdraw cash. Use your national debit or black cards to complete a wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and more. Shop online at the most popular websites and stores for quality brands using your national debit or black cards. And take back your time to enjoy all the things that you love to do. Remember, instead of waiting in long ATM lines to withdraw cash, use your national bank cards today.
National Bank, always here.
Persons attending the St. Kitts Music Festival's 25th edition this year were apprised of the complete lineup this week. Here's that announcement.
The final wave of artists for the June 2023 St. Kitts Music Festival has been released. The announcement was made at a press conference on Thursday at the St. Kitts Marriott Resort. The performers are Akayu Suite, Collision Band, Teflon, Small Axe Band, Statics, Erica Edwards, Anthony B, Romain Virgo, TJ, Nicha B, 313 Family, Mr. Bagnall, Kess the Band, Nyla Blackman, Preedy, Gramps Morgan, New Vibes Band, Ricardo Drew, Dexter Daps, and Burna Boy. Concerts are scheduled to begin 7 o'clock nightly, and tickets cost EC $135 or US $50. They are available at stkittsmusicfestival.com. According to the organizers, surrounding the 25th anniversary of the festival will be a week of fringe events from June 17th to 25th. More details will be announced later. Organizers also said that this year the music festival would be a cannabis-friendly festival. Minister of Tourism, Honorable Masha Henderson, said that discussions with the Attorney General and security forces are ongoing. This will be a pilot project for the government's introduction into cannabis tourism.
After the culmination of the 50th Carifta Games this Easter, the country welcomed home its athletes with big celebration. Here's the welcoming party.
Cheers and applause as the St. Kitts Nevis Carifta team arrived at a welcome ceremony and press conference held at the Cayenne Jet Lounge at the Robert L. Bradshaw International Airport. The team returned home with 3 medals, 1 gold for Kanye Samuel Francis, 1 silver for Jalen Bennett, and 1 bronze for Deschanel Thomas. Sport and other government officials were on hand at the ceremony to congratulate the young athletes. Acting President of the St. Kitts Nevis Olympic Committee, Dennis Knight, commended the team and encouraged them to keep excelling in upcoming events.
So I just want to congratulate all and say this is a moment for us all to pause, enjoy it, celebrate, but let's look forward. There is much more to come.
Junior Minister of Youth Empowerment, the Honourable Iseline Phillip, said they made the entire nation proud.
It's my pleasure to be here as we celebrate the victory for this year's Carifta Games. I'm really pleased to be here to express congratulatory remarks, just to say how proud all of you athletes have really made us in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, just in terms of all of the hard work and the discipline that you have shown in being able to be sports ambassadors going outside of the Federation.
While highlighting the athletes' achievements, Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Right Honourable Dr. Denzel Douglas, promised to use his influence to further their development.
As the Minister of Foreign Affairs, I will use my office to open, my ministry to open doors for you. I will go around the world seeking investment from investors to ensure that our conditions here are better, that our stadium will continue to improve, the conditions under which you are training will improve. We will invest in our coaches because we believe in you.
Following the press conference, a motorcade was held through the streets of Basse-Terre to celebrate the accomplishments of Team SKN. Jason Davis for ZIZ News.
The Federation is gearing up to host 42 nations at its Diplomatic Week next week. Here's that story.
Ahead of Diplomatic Week at the end of the month, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has announced plans for this year's edition, which will share the stage with Agriculture Open Day. During the radio and television program In Focus on Wednesday, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Kay Bass, spoke of the highlight of the week.
We'll be having something called Diplomatic Boulevard. In the past, when ambassadors came to St. Kitts and Nevis for Diplomatic Week, they will meet generally, practically only with high-level officials, the Governor General, the Prime Minister, the Foreign Minister, and other ministers, and also the private sector. But this year we introduced what we call the Diplomatic Boulevard, and this will facilitate greetings of the ambassadors with the public. The public will be able to interact with the general public, and we were initially planning to have it on Central Street, but when we heard of Open Day and where it's going to be located, we partnered with the Ministry of Agriculture, and we hope to move that Diplomatic Boulevard from Central Street to the Open Day. So they will be able to see what happens during Agriculture Open Day. They will be able to meet the public, and they'll be able to see what we produce in St. Kitts and Nevis.
As the theme is driving change, advancing a vision for a sustainable island state, Prime Minister Honorable Dr. Terence Drew is expected to share his vision for a sustainable St. Kitts and Nevis at the opening ceremony on April 25th. Ms. Bass went on to explain the purpose of Diplomatic Week.
Diplomatic Week was started because the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is responsible for managing international relationships with countries all over the world. And so it was started because, you know, we can't attend every meeting and not everyone could reach us. So it was important for us to bring our ambassadors with countries with whom we have diplomatic relations to St. Kitts and Nevis so that they can meet our high-level officials, interact with the public, as well as see what the country is like.
St. Kitts and Nevis's ambassadors that are stationed around the globe are expected to be in the Federation. The event is also expected to feature 42 nations.
After the break, Trinidad and Tobago opens the first ice skating rink, and Poland and Hungary ban Ukraine grain. Stay tuned.